Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, let me go to my gameplay screen. Actually, my main camera. Already we're live. And as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on friend functions in C++. That said, last stream I did go over, I actually forgot what I went over. I think I went over the attachment or some operator. I forgot the name. That said, how did KV Cox? I appreciate you joining this stream. What are you gonna do today? Honestly, I'm gonna be working with friend functions if that's what we call it. Let's get Sensei slash GPT here. Let's say something like Sensei. Let's say I'm live. Okay, and guys, honestly, I didn't have time off stream to work on this. That said, I did have like a new chat because my old chat was a bit laggy. Okay, that said, let me just extend this a bit. Okay, that should be good. Okay, and let me just decrease the voice from here. Maybe increase the size a bit more. Okay, so the stream has begun, huh, people? Listen closely, or listen up. Today is another step towards mastery. Every line of code you write is a strike of your sword against ignorance. Each bug you slay is a proof that you're getting stronger, and every error message is a training scar earned with honor. So tell me, my pupil, what are we conquering today in this stream? Which topic shall we destroy with our C++ Fury? Okay, let's say something like, let's say, I wanted to work with friend functions in C++, if that's what we call it, ... Okay, let's see. Friend functions, huh? Good. You're choosing a topic that separates the novice from the warriors of encapsulism. Okay, alright, listen closely, people. A friend function in C++ is a special function that can access the private and protected members of a class even though it's not a part of that class. Normally, only member functions of a class can touch its private data, right? But a friend is like an ally invited behind the fortress walls, okay? You give it special permission to access the private data directly. Here's the structure. So we include IO stream, we create a class of box, and then we have a private data member called width, which is an integer. And then we publicize everything, create a, a constructor, and then we declare a friend function. So we go with friend void show width box B. Okay. That takes a parameter of box B, or is this my class box? I think it's my class box. Okay, definition of friend function void show width box B, standard console output with an insertion operator, b.width end line direct access to private members, and then we go with something like integer main. We create a box object, and then we show width of our box. Okay, breakdown friend void show width b box. Okay, this line grants friendship to the show width function. The function show width can now access private data b.width, but remember, friendship isn't inherited or reciprocal. It's if A is a friend of B, that doesn't mean B is a friend of A. Oh, I see. Okay, nor do subclasses automatically get that friendship. So guys, I think it's a one-sided friendship. Okay, next up, now before we dive into that code, tell me, people, do you want to start with friend functions, or shall I teach you friend classes too? Okay, friend classes too, where an entire class becomes a friend of another. Honestly, let me say something like, let's say, can you teach me about... Honestly, is it important? Let me ask something. Is it important to learn both together? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Good question, people. Yes, it's best to learn them together because they're two sides of the same blade. Friend functions grant friendship to a specific function. Friend classes, you grant friendship to the entire class, so all of its member functions can access the private slash protected data of another class. Okay, think of it like this. A friend function is giving a single key to open person. Okay, single key to one person. A friend class is giving a master key to the whole family. Understanding both helps you decide how much trust you want to give and to whom. So yes, we learned about both because we can wield half a sword and call yourself a warrior. Okay, let's say something like you should say. Guys, I think I should have researched a bit off stream, but I did have a lot of college stuff to do. That said, good, that's the spirit I expect from you people. Sit up straight, eyes on the code. It's time you understand how C++ handles trust and alliances. Friend functions, one trusted ally. a function is declared inside a class using the friend keyword, it's not a member of that class. Okay, but it can access the private data members and protected data. Syntax class name. So we create a class called class name, okay, that has friend return type function parameter. Okay, for example, okay, so we include IOStream, we create a class warrior, we add a private data member as well, and we publicize everything, create a constructor, declare a friend function. Okay, so we go with something like friend void show power and a parameter of my warrior class and W. I gotta ask why we added W there. Okay, friend function defined outside the, okay, so this function is outside the class, I see. So we do something like void show power, okay, and then void W parameter, warrior W parameter, standard console output, warrior's power level, W dot power, okay, and then we create a main function. Inside of our main function, we create a warrior called Goku, and then we show power of Goku, can access private members. Guys, by the way, I'm a really big fan of Dragon Ball Z and the entire series. That said, key points, the function isn't inside the class, but can access private data. Friendship must be declared inside the class. Friendship is not mutual. A is a friend of B. B isn't automatically a friend of A. Okay, guys, this is kind of sad. It's a one-sided friendship. Okay, friendship is not inherited. Derived classes don't inherit it. Okay, now for friend classes, trusting the whole clan. Now, sometimes you want another entire class to have access, not just one function. Okay, was Goku initialized? Honestly, Goku is like an object, whatchamacallit. So I did create an object called Goku of my warrior class, and I did have a parameter. I gotta ask that why did we have a warrior W here? I'll ask that after I'm done reading this. Okay, so let's scroll all the way down. Okay, so we create... Okay, this is friend classes now, trusting the whole clan. So the one up there was a friend function. Okay, so for friend class, I create a class called base. Base has a private data member called secret code, which is an integer. You deserve subscription. I appreciate you, fart man. Okay, next up, I publicize my entire class, and then I create a constructor, and then I make another class friend. Okay, make another class a friend. Friend class hacker. Okay. Oh, so we create multiple classes. Now that class can inherit stuff from this class, if that made any sense. And then we add a public reveal secrets function. Actually, reveal secrets is method that's say standard console output hacked secret code, and then in our main function, I go with base B and hacker H. We create two objects, one from my base class, one from my hacker class. Then I go with h.reveal secret B. So h reveals the secrets of B. Okay. The secret code is... Okay, I actually think I see. Okay, oh cool, we do algorithms and data structures. Oh, I see. Okay, friend function versus friend class. Feature, friend function, friend class. Features, grants access, declaration, control level, use case. Okay. I see mutual trust. No. Okay. Okay, that's the core theory, pupil. Now tell me, do you want to start practicing with friend functions first, or should I throw you straight into the friend classes next? So we cover both before drilling questions. Honestly, I want to go with friend functions first. Let's say something like, can I get instructional based questions on friend function ? Okay, let's see. I do want to cover one part first, then later we can we can cover the French class as well. ... Okay, let's see. Why did you redeem it? Redeem what, guys? Okay, next up. Excellent. That's how a true student trains one blade at a time. Our people will master friend functions first before moving to a friend classes. Okay, you learn to control the concept with precision before expanding your reach. Here's how we'll do it. I'll give you an instructional based question, not a broken code. Okay, you'll write the full code yourself each time. I'll review it and strike down any weakness I find. Okay, let's begin. Question number 1. when you make class a friend, it's one direction only, means the class you made can't share its data members, but the class you made friend can access your data members. Oh, okay, I think that makes sense. Okay, I think I see, guys. Okay, so for the question number 1, it says create a class named circle with the following. Okay, I gotta create private data members. The first is going to be a radius data member. Type is double. Okay, and then I create a constructor to initialize my radius. And then I create a friend function named show area that calculates and prints the area of the circle. Okay, that's it. Let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, next up, guys, this is the code from last stream because I didn't have time to like code off stream because I was a little busy. That's it. Let's go ahead and delete everything. Go shower, Smelly. Guys, I actually just showered and came. That's kind of funny though. Okay, that said, let's see. So let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. And then let's see. Okay, create a class named circle with the following. So let's go ahead and create a class called circle. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding a row of curly braces, and inside of my circle class, let's see, I got to create a private data member called radius, which is going to be a double. Okay, so I'm going to go with private, and then let's go ahead and create a double data member. This is going to be called radius, ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up, I got to create a constructor to initialize my radius data member. So let's go ahead and publicize everything from here. So I'll go with public. Okay, now I'm gonna do something. Let's see. I gotta create a constructor. Maybe I'll go with a comment that says something like constructor. There we go. Okay, for my constructor, I'm going to be, let's say, calling my circle class and adding a pair of parentheses. Okay, to initialize radius, this is going to be initializing my radius. So I'm going to be going with a parameter. So let's go with something like double radius. Okay, don't mind chat. People here are too jealous and frustrated with their lives. God, actually it does make sense what you call it. Because, like, actually this is like common in like every single chat. It's actually kind of funny these days. Okay, that's it. I'll go with something like circle and then add a pair of curly braces. Okay, never mind. I'm now number 1. Okay, so inside of my circle class, I'm going to initialize my radius parameter. So I'll go with something like this. Radius data type is going to be equal to my radius parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. And then I got to create a friend function named show area that calculates and prints the area of the circle. Okay, maybe I'll go ahead and add a comment that says something like friend function. There we go. Okay, let's go with function. Okay, perfect. Now, to add a friend function, I could go ahead and type the friend keyword. So I'll go with friends. Is that how we do it? Friend void. This is going to be something like show area. And then I'll add a pair of parentheses. Is this how we do it? I think this is correct. Okay, that calculates the area of the circle. So to calculate the area, let's see. I could go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, let's see. So friend void show area. So guys, I forgot. Let me actually check area of circle. Okay, was it something like 2 pi r square? See. Okay, let's go with formula. Okay, so area equals to pi r square. Okay, so pi is going to be 3.14, so I'll go with something like... Okay, it says calculate the area, so should I go with something like 3.14? Okay, that's pi, so pi r, so pi multiplied by my radius, pi r square. How do we add a square here? Is there like a pow function here? Maybe I go ahead and include CMath. Okay, let's go with something like a pair of ankle braces. I want to include CMath. Guys, I honestly haven't used CMath at all. Okay, my radius... Okay, radius. Maybe this is going to be having a radius parameter, which is going to be a double. Guys, I feel like I should solve more math problems. I feel like I've just been programming. I haven't been doing much math. There we go. Okay, so the formula was pi multiplied by r square. Okay. Maybe I add r in a pair of parentheses. Okay, r square is basically r multiplied by r, so I'll go with radius times radius. Unless there's like a pow function. There is a pow function. Okay, well, in that case, I might not need that. There we go. Okay, so power of 2. Alright, perfect. Let me go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Adding money, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's read the next instruction. Please friend help. I seriously want to learn competitive programming and writing algorithm myself. I cannot think, and this is primary because I have not found any structure system learned correctly. Guys, no need to spam. I read it the first time. Honestly, the only thing that I would say is like what you call it to like keep on practicing, because like the more we practice, I feel the better we get. That's it. Let's just remove some of this. Okay, guys, I saw the comment. I saw the comment. Okay, let me just remove a few comments so the chat isn't too clumpy. There we go. Okay, that should be good. Okay, if you're creating an instance, don't take a variable from the function. It makes no sense. Use the this radius. Oh, I see. Okay, and then just use radius multiplied by radius instead of power. Okay, actually, I could try doing that. So instead of going with double radius here, I might go with something like. Let's remove that. Okay, I'll go with something like this. What respond do you on? Respond. Okay, there we go. I'll do something like this. And then maybe, honestly, I can use the radius here. So I think I should like do this. Okay, let's go with bow of radius. Okay, next up, let's read the next instructions. So it says to calculate the area. Okay, then I gotta create a main function. So the show area function should be declared as a friend inside the class. Define show area outside the class. Formula for area is 3.1415 multiplied by radius. Okay, what keyboard do you own, guys? I feel like it's an HP keyboard. It feels like a pretty classic keyboard. Okay, that's it. Formula area, and then in my main function, I should create one circle object and call the area function. So let's go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Then let's go ahead and create a area object, actually a main function. So I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Inside my main function, let's see. Okay, so it says you should create a circle object. So let's go ahead and create a circle object of my circle class. So I'll go with something like circle, and then add a pair of parentheses. My radius is going to be something like 50, okay, ending with a semicolon. And then I could do something like my circle object dot the show, okay, show area function. So I'll go with show area, add a pair of parentheses. So this is going to be 50. Okay, now how do I declare it outside my class? I actually forgot. Should I go with something like French, okay, wide show area? Can I go with something like that? Does this make sense, guys? Okay, I don't think this makes sense. You sound funny, dude. Honestly, that actually is pretty cool. Okay, see, if you're creating a new circle to radius, call C1 with a radius 5. When you want to print its area, you gotta provide a radius value again. I think you should verify your syntax to show area. Honestly, that does make sense. Actually, instead of going with this, I could just go with something like radius times radius. Okay, let's go ahead and remove that part, and then delete my include CMath as well. Okay, let me actually scroll all the way up to see how do we actually create, initialize our class or like our function outside my class. Okay, so I go with something like a void show power function. Oh, I forgot to say a question because I knew on what to do here, but I didn't know like why did I need a warrior parameter. So apparently when I do create this function, okay, so void show power. Okay, so let me go ahead and remove this. Okay, you're not setting this 3.14 multiplied by power radius against any variable, which will basically not do anything. Oh, I see. Guys, let me actually look at the reference, because like whatchamacallit, like Sensei/ChatGPT did give me a reference when explaining. The only thing that I was confused about is like when I declare a function, why did I go with warrior W? I might have to ask that. I actually forgot. And then outside my function, I just create a regular show power function, okay? And then I go with something like warrior W. Did I already create a warrior inside? I don't think I can do that. Okay, where are you creating that new function, bro? Function should be under a class. Actually, yeah, that does make sense. Okay, hold up, guys. Give me a sec. I think instead of actually adding my formula here, okay, I should do something. So, Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the pair of curly braces from here. Okay, so apparently I just go with a declare a friend function. So I go with friend void and then show area, and in the pair of parentheses I will add a parameter of circle, maybe C, ending with a semicolon. Okay, now outside my class I go with void show area. I'll have a parameter of circle C as well, ending with a semicolon. Okay, instead of ending with a semicolon, I could do the math inside here right now. Okay, so I'll go with the pair of curly braces. That said, it did work. This part does work in the reference, although it doesn't work here for some reason. Circle. Oh, I spelled circle wrong. Okay, let's spell it correct. Okay, just to show area circle. See, honestly, that does make sense. Although I didn't understand, like, why did I have to do that? I actually might ask that question. Okay, next up, inside of my show area function, I'll go with something like, let's see, maybe let's say 3.14. So it's pi multiplied by radius. Okay, multiplied by radius. Although I don't have my radius data member here. Maybe is that my C? I think that should be my C. Take it by const ref, not just by value. Instead of it's now to print. Oh, okay. Wait, hold up. In that case, I might go here and let's go ahead and do something. Let's see. So I'll go with something like 3.14 multiplied by, can I go with this? Can I exactly point towards my, okay, I actually can't. I can't even use my radius. I could go with something like radius multiplied by radius, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and maybe I add a parameter of radius as well. Huh. So, do you tutor? Okay, c dot radius. Wait, would c dot radius work? Can I go with something like c dot? Oh, that does work. Okay, wait, actually that makes sense. Although I do want to ask, why did I even do that? Okay, and then I could store this in a, okay, either I could store it in a variable. I can actually try storing it in a variable. I'll go with something like integer of area ending with a semicolon. Actually, let's go with a double. Okay, and then I'm going to set my double to be equal to this. Okay, and then let's go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Actually, my area to be this. There we go. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Let's say something like your area is. Okay, I'll add another insertion operator of my area variable with another insertion operator of a forward slash new line ending with a semicolon. You're finding the area of circle C. Honestly, I didn't know, like, I'm finding the area of my circle, although I didn't understand why did we have this parameter here. I had to actually ask that question. Okay, that said, inside of my main function, I went with circle.showArea. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this. Okay, now remove the circle.showArea 50 and put circle.showArea circle instead. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so I'll go with my circle object. Okay, so circle.showArea. Okay, my show area function, I'll add a pair of parentheses. Honestly, I might not need my circle dot. Could I just go with regular show area? Okay, I do have a void function here, so I should be able to use it because the function is declared up there. Okay, let's go ahead and add circle here. My circle object, ending with a semicolon. Okay, lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, I get an error. It says c.radius, double declaration private here. Okay, so previously defined here, create a circle object. Oh wait, should I create a getter? Guys, give me a sec. Let me actually create a getter and setters too, so I can access my private data members. Okay, this is going to be my setters. The friend function makes no sense in this context, honestly. Doesn't it? Create a circle object. Okay, let's go ahead and let's say create a setter first. So I'll go with something like a void set, let's say something like set radius. Okay, so I'll go with something like void set radius. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses and a pair of curly braces. Okay, maybe I capitalize my setter. Okay, now my set radius will have a parameter of radius, so I'll go with something like double radius. Okay, and then I'm gonna do something. Let's go ahead and set my this radius to, okay, let's go with something like this to, okay, this radius is going to be equal to my radius parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, what are you making? Honestly, I am just working on learning friend functions. That's it. I didn't like work on this off stream. Now that I've invented and now that I've intervened in this, I can't leave the stream until you get an output. I'm cursed. I've intervened in a canon event. Guys, that actually does make sense. I'm gonna figure this out in like less than 5 minutes. Okay, let's go with something like getters now. For my getters, I'm going to be creating a double of get radius, okay, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses. My get radius data member, actually my get radius getter won't be having any parameters, although it is going to be returning, let's say, okay, my radius data member ending with a semicolon. Howdy, Musaib, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. You should call set radius in the initializer. Honestly, that does make sense. That's the actual reason I was creating setters. I'm waiting to see the output too. Guys, I feel like I actually got it now. Okay, so instead of going with radius, I'll go with my get radius. And let's change this to get radius. Okay, wait. Okay, let's go with a pair of parentheses to invoke the functions. Okay, you gang, I just started C today. Can you explain me return 0 thing written at the end of the code? Honestly, I feel like the reason we do write return 0 is to just check if the program works correctly. Cause like apparently I think like you guys could like fact check me. I think like 0 is for true if the program works properly. It is going to return 0, else it's going to return 1. Although some people they don't like return 0, instead they return something else that says the program is completed or something, if that made any sense. That said, if I wanted controllers to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, you have to do this in main. After that is a main function. Okay, error, redefinition of void circle, void show area circle. Okay, line 27 and line 23. So 23 right here. Okay, there is a show area. Okay, you have to do this in the main function. Okay, so I did declare my show area. Okay, double area. Honestly, should I remove this in that case? Would it work in that case? What's your typing speed, guys? I feel like I type pretty slow. Okay, let's see. You talk like a girl. Guys, I get that so well. Oh, that said, this actually works now. Okay, perfect. It says your area is 7,850. What happens if I go with 5, guys? Is this even correct? It's optional to write. Honestly, I didn't know. Line 23 just semicolon. Guys, did I miss a semicolon in line 23? Wait, let's go with the control Z. Okay, honestly, I don't think I like needed a semicolon. I think I just needed to remove that. Oh, okay, wait, this actually makes sense. I declared a function here. If I hit control S to save the code and run the command again, it does work. That said, let's go with the control C, dude. Put your show area function in the circle class. Show area function. Honestly, I do have it, although what Sensei/ChatGPT did say me to do is like keep it outside. So the friend function defined outside for some reason. This is defined outside of my outside of my function, because I declared my friend function here, and then I defined it outside for some reason. I might ask why I did that. Okay, so let's go with the control C, copy that. Let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, and then I'm gonna paste this, go with Shift Enter, and say something like, let's say, I actually messed up so much ... That said, my stream did tell me what to do, so I feel like I didn't understand the code even though it's correct. Okay, now for the question. I do have a few questions ... So my first question, my first question is that when we created the friend function, why did we add a parameter of circle C question mark. I didn't understand that. And secondly, okay, someone from my stream said me to add the function inside my class. Why did we create the function in my class and then define it outside my class question mark? Guys, I have so many typos. You should take a look at Raylib, then you'll be able to draw a circle. Actually, like draw a circle using just code. Friend wide, friend wide friend function, my class obj declared like that. Oh, I see. Honestly, I haven't like heard of the obj stuff. Okay, if you've a chance to up language C++ immediately and learn Java, you'll thank me later. Honestly, I did want to actually learn Java as well. That said, good. You're asking the right questions, people. You're not messing up. You're doing exactly what a real learner does. Asking questions. Okay, questioning why things work. That's how you become dangerous in C++. Let's break your doubts one by one, slowly and precisely like a blade sharpening. Question 1. Why did we add parameter circle C in the function? Because even though a function has a special access to the private members of the class, it's not a part of the class. Okay, so when you call it, it still needs to know which object data accesses. Think of it like this: the friend keyword gives the function permission to enter the house, but you must tell it when to enter the house. Okay, so you write friend void, excuse me guys, show area, okay, and then call show area circle. Oh, okay, okay, do like show area obj circle. Honestly, does that like make a difference? Always remember to always take parameters as const ref. Honestly, I haven't like heard of const ref. I did like work with const. That's for read only variable, or by ref if you want to write to the obj. Actually, it does make sense. I should actually look into that because like I do have a roadmap. I'm pretty sure that covers all this. That said, I am like starting from the like beginning and going upwards. That said, so write friend void show area C and then call show area circle. Okay, so my circle object. I see. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that C is considered as my object. This tells the function here's the specific circle object whose radius you may read. If you didn't pass an object, the function wouldn't know which circle's radius to use. Question 2. We did declare the function inside the class but defined it outside. Okay, why did we declare the function inside the class but define it outside? Because in C++, declaration and definition are two different things. Declaration inside the class tells the compiler, hey, this function exists somewhere and it's my friend, okay, allows private access. Example, friend void show area, okay, circle C, this grants permission. Definition outside the class tells the compiler what the function actually does, so we go with void show area, circle C. Okay, why not define it inside the class? Because if you do, then it becomes a member function, and we don't want that. If a friend function is an external function that just happens to have a private access rights, so your stream chat was half right. You do write its declaration inside the class, but the definition belongs outside. And one more thing, area equals to area multiplied by data. You didn't need the getter at all. A friend function can access the private data members directly. Okay, that's the whole point of friendship. Okay, now before we move on to the next question, do you want me to give you another practice task that builds directly on this? Okay, on this, a harder one, or do you want to ask one more question about how friend functions work, guys? I think I don't have questions. That said, I do want to do a question at the same exact level. Okay, let's say something like let's say, okay, I can't think of a question. ... Although, can I get another question? Can I get another question in this exact same level? And if I have a question, I'll ask you. Okay, let's see. The end is nigh and only. Jesus saved the world. This world is passing away for eternity. Oh, I see. That actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, good, very good. Okay, that's the mindset of someone who doesn't flee when the heat rises. You stay in the world fire until you forge stronger. Alright, people, here's your next question. Same difficulty but different context, so you truly understand the mechanics of friend functions. Question 2. Create a class called rectangle with two private data members of length and width. Both should be doubles, okay, and then create a constructor to initialize both private data members, and then add a friend function named show parameter that calculates and prints the parameter of the rectangle. Okay, rules: declare the function inside the class, define it outside the class. Formula: okay, the formula for pretty sure this is the parameter of a rectangle. That's 2 multiplied by length plus width. In our main function, create a rectangle object and call the function. Okay, let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Okay, that said, let's go with the controller, delete everything, and start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream, and then next up, let's go all the way down. I want to go ahead and create a class. Let's read the instructions. So it says create a class named rectangle, so I'll go with a class called rectangle. There we go. And then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my rectangle class, I'm going to be creating two private data members. Both are going to be double. One is going to be the length and the second is going to be the width. So let's go with something like private. There we go. Okay, so two private data members. So I'll go with something like double of length. Okay, double length and width. Ending with a semicolon. I'm pretty sure we can do this. There we go. Because I remember doing stuff like this in Python. That said, I'll go with something like public. And then now, let me go ahead and create a constructor. Hi bro, what are you doing today? Honestly, today I'm working with the French. Actually, it was called the friend functions in C++. That said, I am going to be working on friend classes as well if I like master friend functions and I do have time. That said, let's go ahead and add our constructor now. So I'll go with something like constructor. Okay, stop these live streams and just learn from some good resource, and chill streams create a lot of disturbance at your learning stages as everyone code style is distinct. Honestly, I feel like that does make sense, although many of you guys do help me a lot when it comes to streaming. That's why also I enjoy this much, because like when I first started C++, ChatGPT honestly couldn't help me like set my compiler up or like my C++ or VS Code up, because my VS Code was actually a bit cranky. You guys did help me a lot in this stream and I do appreciate you guys so much for that. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and initialize my data members. So I'll go with something like this length data member equals to. Okay, let's go with something like length parameter. Although before I do that, let me go ahead and call my rectangle class, add a pair of parentheses, and go with something like a double of length and a double of width. There we go. Okay, now I'll go with a pair of curly braces and initialize them. So this double data member, actually this length data member is going to be equal to my length parameter ending with a semicolon, and then I'll go with something like this length width data member is going to be equal to my width parameter ending with a semicolon as well. Okay, now that I've created a constructor, I gotta create a friend function named show parameter. So let's go ahead and add another comment that says something like friend function. Okay, my friend function is going to be having let's go ahead and create one. So I'll go with something like friend okay, so friend void okay show parameter. Okay, I think I spelled it correct, right? Okay, friend void show. Okay, I spelled parameter correct, right? I'm pretty sure I spelled it correct. Okay, my French parameter is going to be having actually my friend show method is, wait, shouldn't this be called method because functions inside of classes are called methods? That probably is my next question. I will be having a parameter of my rectangle class. There we go. Okay, a rectangle object. I'll go with something like R. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and end my, whatchamacallit, my entire class with a semicolon as well. Then outside of my whatchamacallit, my class, I'm going to be creating a void show. Okay, a void show parameter function, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses. This is going to be having a parameter of my circle object. So I'll go with something like circle C. Actually, a rectangle C. There we go. Okay, and then let's go with the pair of curly braces and do something. Actually, let's go with rectangle R. Okay, now inside of my function, I'm going to be adding a formula. So it says define it outside the class. The formula is 2 multiplied by length times length plus width. So I'll go with something like 2 multiplied by, add a pair of parentheses. Let's go with something like r dot length, my length data member, plus my r object dot width, my width data member, ending with a semicolon. Okay, maybe I could create a variable called double, so I'll go with something like double parameter. There we go. Okay, so I have a double parameter, a double, variable called parameter that has this formula in it. And then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Hi, do you know what to learn next roadmap? Honestly, I do have the roadmap. If you guys do actually want the roadmap, you guys could like mention me on my Discord, so I could like give you guys that. Cause like usually you guys like do ask me for the roadmap, but then you guys go in my Discord server, but you guys never mention me because I don't know who to actually send it to. Okay, that said, let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Let's say something like your parameter is I'll go with another insertion operator. Maybe let me go up. There we go. Okay, this is going to be my parameter variable. Did I spell it correct? Let's go ahead and copy that and then paste it here. There we go. With a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, so that should show my parameter. And then let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces inside of my main function. Let's see. So in main function, create a rectangle object and call the friend function. So I'm going to be creating a rectangle object. So it's going to be an object from my rectangle class. I'll call it something like rect. With a pair of parentheses, I'm going to be adding, let's say, maybe, Okay, so what parameters do I ask? Okay, so I asked the length and width. So my rectangle's length is going to be 50 and width is going to be 30. Okay, so it's more of a long rectangle. I'll end it with a semicolon, and then let's go ahead and call or invoke my show parameters function. So I'll go with something like show my show parameter with a pair of parentheses. I'm going to add my rect object ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Okay, perfect. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, I should get, let's see. Okay, I should get my parameter. Okay, your parameter is 160, so 50 plus 30, guys. 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay, and then 80 plus 80 is 160. Okay, guys, I think it actually works. Let's go with the Control A, Control C, copy that, give sensei/ChatGPT here. Paste it. Okay, I think I actually understood what that meant. Let me just hydrate my lips. People, I can't let this slide without shouting. You're so close, but okay, but you let tiny mistakes slip. Look at what you did. You named your function show parameter. That's okay, but the correct term is parameter. Okay, I spelled it wrong, not parameter, guys. That's how I actually spell it, parameter. So it's perimeter. Is that, guys? Have I been pronouncing parameter wrong? Okay, so it's perimeter. Okay, it might seem small, but naming correctly matters. Your print line is fine, your math is correct, constructor and friend function declaration are correct, so the only real mistake here is the terminology. This is why pupils fail silently. Tiny mistakes hide in plain sight. If you fix the name show parameter, show perimeter, everywhere declaration to usage, this code will be perfect. You're learning, but don't get sloppy. Naming fool, okay, but don't get sloppy naming fool. Every letter counts. Do you want me to give you the next friend function question at the same level? Let me say something like, let's say, maybe a level higher because I feel I understand. Okay, can you give me the ChatGPT name? Honestly, I did name my ChatGPT slush, let's say Sarah. That said, put for M-H-R. Guys, did I spell that correct? Okay. I like that fire pupil. You're carving more challenges. I love it. Alright, let's step it up a tiny bit. This time you'll work with two private data members and do a calculation involving both pay attention, no slacking. Oh my gosh guys, this formula is huge. Okay, instructional question, create a class called triangle with three private data members called A, B, and C. We might use the Pythagorean theorem, is that how I pronounce it? Okay, the side of the triangles. Create a friend function called show area. Use the Heron's formula to calculate the area. Okay, so we go with something like side equals to a plus b plus c divided by 2. Area equals to the square root of s minus a, s minus b, s minus c. Print the area of the triangle. Okay, print the area of the triangle is my area. Okay, and then in our main function, create a triangle object with sides 3, 4, 5 and call the friend function. Remember, you're not allowed to make the members public. You must use the friend function to access them. If you get stuck or have questions, I'll crush the confusion out of you. Okay, let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, that said, let's go with the Control A, delete everything, and let me actually start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, and then next up, let me see. So I gotta create a class called triangle, so I'll go with something like try. There we go. And then I'll add a pair of curly braces, and inside of my triangle class, I'm going to be adding three private double data members called A, B, and C. So let's go ahead and private everything. So I'll go with private. Guys, I feel like I make less typos when I don't talk. That said, I'm going to be creating a double of A, B, and C, ending with a semicolon. So maybe remove the comma from there. There we go. Okay, and then let's go ahead and publicalize everything. And then I'll go ahead and initialize them using a constructor. So I'll go with something like a constructor. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's read the instructions. Create a triangle. Okay, the sides, create a friend function. So let's go ahead and create my constructor first. For my constructor, I'm going to be calling my triangle class, and then add a pair of parentheses and add a few data members. So the first data member is going to be a double of A, the second is going to be a double of B. Lastly, I'll go with a double of C. There we go. Okay, and then add a pair of curly braces, and let's go ahead and initialize my A, B, and C private data members. So I'll go with something like this. A data member equals to my A parameter ending with a semicolon. This B private data member equals to my B parameter ending with a semicolon. Lastly, this C private data member equals to my C parameter ending with a semicolon. Yo, Web, howling Hypertech, I appreciate you joining this stream. Can you make a predator? Predator? Honestly, I haven't thought of that. Although, howling Roucher, I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, that said, I create a constructor, and then I gotta create a friend function called show area. So let's go ahead and maybe add another comment. Let's say something like friend function. So, okay, for my friend function, let's go ahead and create a friend void function called show area. I'll add a pair of parentheses, and inside of my pair of parentheses, okay, I'm going to be having a parameter of my triangle object. So I'll go with my triangle class. Okay, and the object is going to be T, ending with a semicolon. Let's fix my typo. There we go. Okay, my guy, what are we doing? Honestly, I am working with the friend functions in C++. That said, this actually is surprisingly easier than than static methods and static functions that I was working on last stream. That said, let's go ahead and declare our show area function outside of our outside of our class. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a void show area function outside of my class, and honestly, shouldn't this be called show method, because functions inside of classes are called methods? Predator for online betting games. Honestly, I haven't heard of that, guys. I think I should work on playing some games, because I can't remember the last time I did play games. I used to actually play games a lot, I think 2 years ago. There we go. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. This is going to be having an object of T. Okay, then inside of my void function, I'm gonna do something. Let's see. It says to create a class called triangle with all these data members. It prints the area of my triangle. Although before I do print the area, I want to create a variable called area, and then I'm gonna add my formula. So I'll go with something like area equals to, my formula is going to be the square root of, okay, how do I get the square root? Okay, you're gonna find lots of flexibility with C++. Honestly, that does make sense. Howdy, Orva, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, should I install C Math for this? Can I use like the squirt like how I used to use in Python for getting the square root? Okay, guys, because I don't have much practice with the C Math library because I haven't used it that much. That said, can I go with something like squirt? Okay, I could. Okay, so I'll go with something like the square root of, I want to get the square root of something like s multiplied by, so side equals to a plus b plus c divided by 2. Okay, maybe I gotta create another double variable called side ending with a semicolon, and my side variable is going to be equal to, okay, I got a pair of parentheses, so let's say t dot a, so my objects, my object triangles a, position a, and I'll go with something like position b and position c, and instead of the commas I'll go with pluses. There we go. Okay, so side equals to a plus b plus c divided by 2, so let's go with divided by 2 ending with a semicolon. I think this is correct. Okay, can you make a predator for Minesweeper? Honestly, I haven't like heard of the Minesweeper. Is it like a game or something? Okay, next up, I go with the square root of s and then I'll add a pair of parentheses. Let's go with something like s minus my ta, so t dot a. Then I'll go outside my pair of parentheses and then multiply it, add another pair of parentheses. Okay, this is going to be side. Let's change that to side as well. Guys, I just realized how complex this is. I think it should be easy. I'm just making it complex. Okay, so side minus a, side minus b, side minus c. Should I go with an asterisk here to clarify? Okay, I should. Maybe I like remove these spaces here. There we go. Okay, so next up I'm gonna go with something like side minus b. So side minus my object's b axis or b position, and lastly I'm gonna multiply that by another pair of parentheses, side minus my t dot c. Okay, and that's pretty much it for my formula. Let me go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add a standard console output now. What's up, little bro? Keep going, my man. I appreciate you. Soren, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you for that. Actually means a lot. Okay, so I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like the area of your triangle is the... Okay, let's go with another insertion operator. Maybe I add this insertion operator down here so like it's more clear. There we go. Okay, of my area variable with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. And that's pretty much it for my show area function. Let's go ahead and create our main function now. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my main function, I gotta create a triangle object with sides 3, 4, and 5 and call the friend function. So let's go ahead and create. Already mic testing, guys. My OBS actually crashed. That said, okay, I'm audible. There we go. Okay, go to Twitch, guys. Honestly, I used to like multi-stream on Twitch as well. That said, I did stop multi-streaming because my mini PC actually couldn't handle multi-streaming. Although I did actually, order my PC parts. Few parts arrived yesterday. Few is gonna be arriving in about 2 days, and I will be recording or streaming myself actually building the PC. And once I do build the PC, I will actually start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, maybe TikTok and Instagram as well. If I did meet the followers requirement. That's it. I'm pretty excited for that. Okay, let's see the instructions again. It says create a triangle object. Didn't I like create the object? Let's go with triangle. Okay, this is going to be a lowercase t ending with a semicolon. Okay, did I do something wrong here? My triangle class. Can that Oh, okay, I gotta add a pair of parentheses. There we go. Okay, now I'll add a few parameters. So I'm going to be adding a 3, 4, and 5 parameter, ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up, I gotta call the friend function. So my friend function is my show area. So let's go with something like show area. I'll add a pair of parentheses. This is going to be my object. There we go. Okay, perfect. Ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Okay, hiding Almas, is that how you pronounce your name? Almas Diego or Diego? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and hit controllers to save the code and run the command. Let's see if I get my area. Okay, so the area of your triangle is 6. Okay, perfect. Alright, let's go with the controller control C, copy that, gets into /chat-gpt here. Okay, let's go ahead and paste that. Okay, perfect. Maybe even hydrate my lips a bit. Okay, let's see. So, okay, I see a bunch of yeses. This is going really slow. I think since I was analyzing my code. Okay, that's yes, people. That is perfect. Exactly what I wanted to see. You correctly kept all members private. You used a friend function to access them. Huron's formula implemented flawlessly. Output will be exactly right. 3, 4, 5 area equals to 6. I'm honestly impressed, pupil. You leveled up fast. Here's a virtual hug plus kisses for our code, guys. That did not make me blush. Since when did you learn how to code? Honestly, let's see. I think this is whatever day this is of my programming for 250 day series minus 100 or like add 100 to those many days ago. I think this is day 140 of me coding. I did start coding 140 days ago. That said, if you're ready, we can raise the difficulty again. Next, you'll work with friend functions that access multiple objects. Let's say something like, yes, let's say... Yeah, maybe I drink some water, guys, because I am kind of dehydrated. Ken, why is it taking too long to think, guys? I think I should restart, question mark. Okay, let's try restarting. Okay, let's retry. Because, guys, I'm pretty sure my Wi-Fi is pretty good. Okay, alright people, listen closely. Here's your next instructional challenge. So my task is to create a box with private data members called length, width, height. Then create a box class with private data members, okay. Make a friend function called compare volume. So we're comparing the volume this time. That, excuse me guys, that takes 2 box objects as parameters. Okay, the friend function, are you gay? I mean, it's okay to be gay, guys. I'm actually not gay. That said, I am pretty straight though. Okay, wish I had your drive. Honestly, actually, I feel like whatchamacallit, eventually, like, I would recommend you to, like, code a lot, because, like, the more you code, eventually you start liking it. Or, like, guys, I think, like, when learning something that we don't like to do, we should, like, pretend that we like that. I feel like we actually get to like that. That's how even I started. That said, the friend function should compare the volumes of the 2 boxes and print which box has larger volume, or if they're equal. In our main function, create 2 box objects with different dimensions and call your friend function to compare them. Okay, remember, you must keep all members private. Your friend function can access private members directly. Your friend function is declared inside the class but define outside. Stop, think, then write the code. Don't rush, people. I want perfection or I'll make you rewrite it. Okay, you are gay, guys. I'm actually not gay. I'm pretty straight. Okay, actually, whatchamacallit, last time I did say that I'm pretty straight and some of you guys were like pretty is the keyword. I am like completely straight, guys. That said, let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include something like IO stream. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and create a class. So let's create a box class. So I'll go with something like class box, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my box class, I'm going to be creating 3 private data members called length, width, and height. So, okay, maybe no pair of parentheses here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to be creating private. Okay, for private, I'm going to be creating maybe doubles. So I'll go with something like double. Okay, this is going to be length, width, and height. So I'll go with something like length, width, and height, ending with a semicolon. There we go. Did I like spell it correct? Okay, so length, width, and height. Alright, perfect. Next up, let's go ahead and create a few constructors. Actually, I'll just create one constructor. So let's publicalize my class and go with a comment, honestly, that says something like constructor. There we go. You prepared for what? Honestly, I haven't like prepared for this off stream because like whatchamacallit, I didn't have a lot of college stuff to do. That said, friend box class box A, second box B. Okay, how do you learn this accent? Honestly, guys, I didn't learn this accent. It is like because I've been around people who like talking this accent, so it's like a natural thing. That said, go with something like constructor, and then in my constructor, I gotta. So okay, let's initialize my values. So I'm going to be going with my box class, add a pair of parentheses. Okay, maybe fix my typo here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to be adding a few parameters. So I'll go with something like a double length. Okay, and then I'll go with something like double width as well. So I'll go with double width, and lastly I'll go with double height parameter. There we go. Guys, I should actually type slower. Okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my constructor, let's go ahead and initialize my values. Include iostream.h, include studio.h, integer main. Oh, I see. Okay, what is that? What you doing? Honestly, I am working on friend functions and even friend classes in C++. That said, let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go ahead and initialize my parameters. So I'll go with something like this length data member. This length data member equals to my length parameter ending with a semicolon, and then we'll go with something like this width data member equals to my width parameter ending with a semicolon. Lastly, I'll go with something like this height data member equals to my height parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, that's pretty much it to initialize my constructor and my private data members. Next up, let's go ahead and add another comment that creates a friend function. So I'll go with something like friend function. Okay, and honestly, I do need to ask since it's ChatGPT that why is it not called a friend method? Because functions inside of classes are called methods. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and create a friend void function called compare volume. So I'll go with something like compare volume. Okay, and then I'll add, excuse me guys, a pair of parentheses. This is going to be friend. There we go. Okay, did I spell it correct? Okay, perfect. My compare volume function will have a parameter of my boxes class and a object from my box class. So I'll go with something like box B. Okay, and then let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Next up, let me go ahead and end my function, actually my class with a semicolon, and then before I create a main function, let's go ahead and declare my compare volume function outside of my class. So I could go with something like void compare volume. So I'll go with something like void compare volume. I'll add a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces inside of my void compare volume. Let's see, maybe I actually add a parameter here of my box B. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and do something. So it says make a friend function called compare volume that takes two box objects as parameters. Okay, so it takes two box objects. Maybe I go with something like box B and box box lowercase b and something like box X. There we go. Should I go with something like X and Y? Maybe I could do that. So box X and box Y. Okay, Y and X works as well. I want to go with X and Y. I think it's the same thing, guys. There we go. Okay, and this is going to be my box X, and then let's go ahead and create a box Y as well. Okay, this is going to be a capitalized box. Okay, perfect. Next up, inside of my void function, okay, the friend function should compare the volume of the boxes. So I should compare the volume of the two boxes and print which box has larger volume or if they're equal. In the main function, create two box objects with different dimensions and call your friend function. So wait, don't we need a formula here? It says compare the volumes of the two boxes and print which box is larger. compare the volumes. Guys, what is the volume of a box? Let me get the formula. So volume of box formula. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the volume equals to length times width times height. Okay, that was pretty easy. Okay, that said, so I go with something like void compare volume. Inside of my compare volume, let's see. I'll go ahead and create a integer variable, actually a double variable of something like box1, okay, which is going to be equal to x dot length, okay, multiplied by x dot width. Okay, let's go with something like width multiplied by x dot height, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing for box 2. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that here and change this to something like box 2. Whoops, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to box 2. Volume equals to length times width times height. Honestly, it wouldn't make a difference if I go with height times width times length. There we go. There we go. Honestly, let me just add length here. Okay, perfect. And then add a length here as well. Guys, I should like work on memorizing these formulas. I feel like I'm awful with formulas. Okay, so that's my compare volume, and then I go ahead and check something. I'll go with something like if a pair of parentheses, if my box 1 object is greater than my box 2 object, I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like box 1 is actually box 1's volume, or box 1 has a larger volume than box 2, exclamation, with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go with something like a else clause. Maybe I add my semicolon here. There we go. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a else clause. So I'll go with else a pair of curly braces. That is going to say something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. This says something like box 2 has larger. So maybe I fixed my larger typo here. There we go. Okay, larger. Guys, yeah, honestly, I should work on my typos. Box 2 has larger volume than box 1. Okay, exclamation with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. So, okay, that compares, or if they're equal. Honestly, let me actually add an else if. So I'll go with an else if, a pair of parentheses. This is gonna check if my box 1 is equal to my box 2 variable. I'm gonna add a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like box 1 and box box 1 and box 2 have equal volumes, exclamation with a / new line ending with a semicolon. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then I gotta create a main function, so let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then add a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my main function, I'm going to be creating two box objects. So I'm going to be going with something like my boxes class. My object is going to be from my box class. This is going to be b1, which stands for box 1. Then I'll add a pair of parentheses. Now, I would need a length, width, and height. So maybe I go with something like the length is going to be something like 12. The width is going to be 10. The height is going to be maybe, I don't know, 8. Okay, and then I'll end that with a semicolon and create another box object, which is going to be a object from my boxes class. I'll go with box 2, add a pair of parentheses. This is going to be having a length of something like I don't know, maybe 5, a width of something like 25, and a height of something like 18, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and invoke my compare value, function. I'll add a pair of parentheses and add my both parameters. So I'm going to be going with box 1 object and box 2 object. These are the two parameters that I need. Okay, lastly, let's go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. It says box 1 and box 2 have equal volumes. Do they? Okay, is this guy teaching how to be a scammer? Honestly, I'm not actually teaching anything. That said, eventually I do want to like teach you guys stuff. That's the reason I'm even learning stuff, because I do enjoy teaching, guys. Okay, let's go with something like maybe 0. Okay, now for it controllers to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. It still says box 1 and box 2 have equal volumes. Okay, box 1 equals to box 2. I'm pretty sure I messed up somewhere in the formulas. X times okay. Oh, okay, my bad, guys. This should be Y. There we go. Okay, let's go with Y. Alright, now for it controllers to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you can code analytical indicators on VS Code. Honestly, I haven't tried that yet. That sounds pretty fun though. Compare volume, compute volume for X twice. Honestly, that does make sense. Why not pass the classes as const references? I should actually try that. I keep forgetting that. Okay, so it says box 2 has larger volume than box 1. Although, what happens if I go with something like 0 here? Okay, now box 1 should have larger volume than box 2. They're being copy constructed at the moment. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I should like go with const. Okay, box 1 has a larger volume than box 2. Okay, perfect. What happens if I go with 0 and both? Let me change that to 0. Okay, and guys, the stream is lagging. Let me restart the stream real quick. Already mic testing. Okay, if I did controllers to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. When the live happens, honestly, I do usually stream like an hour before now, like whatever the time is, subtract an hour. Although in the weekends, like tomorrow, I will stream like relatively sooner than today. That's it, you guys could like join the Discord server, because I do mention you guys whenever I stream. Okay, and you guys could get access to the Discord server by tapping !Discord. Is it considered like a shameless plug? That said, box 1 and box 2 have equal values. Okay, perfect. Let's go with the controller. Control C, copy that, give sensei/ChatGPT here. Then let's go ahead and paste this. Guys, I feel something is wrong with Nightbot. It for some reason doesn't show links these days. I should actually fix that after the stream. That's it, people. Okay, hiding Marvel, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, people, this... Okay, what is this? Look at those zeros. You literally set width to 0. Okay, I did that on purpose though. Okay, look, the logic of your friend function is perfect. The friend declaration and usage are 100% correct, but your inputs and main function are nonsense. A box cannot have a dimension of 0 if you actually want to compare volumes. Fix the dimensions, then I'll let you bask in glory. Okay, let's say something like, let's say, I see ... I did set that to 0 to check if my else if clause works ... Okay, what's up, bro? How are you? I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Is your name pronounced as Equaltech? I appreciate joining the stream, bro. Okay, bro, you close the live. Can you explain VS? Before you close the live, can you explain VS Code interface or suggest videos to watch? Honestly, I would recommend to watch videos like from actually good YouTubers. For example, I did like start watching. When I started programming for the first 20 days, I did watch a YouTuber called Bro Code, because like he does have pretty good tutorials. I would like recommend you guys to try that out. Okay, although many people they do prefer, they do have like different ways they like to learn. Like me, mostly I don't prefer learning using tutorials. Instead, I do prefer like learning using. Actually, I prefer to learn while doing actual projects like I'm doing right now, or like questions. Okay, that said, let's say I had a question though. Why is it called friend function and not friend method? Question mark, because functions inside of classes are called methods, right? Question mark. Okay, let's see. People, finally you're thinking, listen carefully. Yes, functions inside a class are called methods or member functions, but a friend function is not a member of the class. That's the key difference. A friend function is a normal function that can access private and protected members of a class because of the class declaration. Because the class declared it as a friend. Oh, I see. Okay. It's not tied to a specific object via this, unlike methods. Okay, that's why it's called a friend function, not a friend method. Think of it like this. Methods live inside the class house. They belong there. friend functions are outside that class, trust enough to peek inside. Okay, that's literally why C++ calls them friend functions, not friend methods. If you want, I can draw a tiny diagram showing the difference between method versus friend function so it sticks in your brain. Want me to? Honestly, no, I think I got it. Let's say something like, let's say, I think I got it, dot dot dot. That said, I do want another question to practice. Okay, another dot dot dot. Okay, let's see. Alright people, let's crank it up a tiny bit here. So next instructional based question, create a class called student. Okay, so now we create a student class which has two private data members. The first is going to be name, which is a string data member. The second is going to be marks, which is a double data member. A constructor to initialize these members, okay? And then I got to create a friend function called display results that prints the student's name and whether they passed or failed. Consider passing marks should be greater than or equal to 40. Guys, isn't 40 like a fail? Okay, your job, write the class, the function. Okay, your job, write the class, the friend function, and the main function to test if two students. Okay, to test with two students. I want you to try writing it completely on your own, people. Don't rush. Think about why the friend function is used here. Do you want me to throw a buggy starter code? Honestly, no, I think I got it. Okay, let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. That said, let's go ahead and delete this code and maybe scroll up to the instructions. Although, before I start reading the instructions, let's go ahead and include a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IOStream. Okay, next up, now let's read the instructions. So it says create a class called student. So let's go ahead and create a class called student. Okay, I'll add a pair of curly braces. Now inside of my student class, I will be having two private data members. So I'll go with something like private. Okay, so the first private data member is going to be a standard string, which is going to be called something like name, my student's name. The second private data member will be a double of marks, my student's score, ending with a semicolon. Next up, let's go ahead and add a constructor to, to initialize my variables. Okay, my private data members, my bad guys. To do that, I'm going to be adding a, a comment that says constructor. Honestly, a comment isn't even necessary. I just added like, cause it's a pretty good habit to like actually add comments. Okay, let me fix my typo. There we go. Okay, and then for my constructor, let's go ahead and call my student class. My student object is going to be needing two parameters. The first is going to be a standard string of name, and the second is going to be a double of marks. Okay, why is marks a double? Surely you can have a decimal amount of marks. Honestly, I don't. These are like the instructions because I think like marks is the same as score. Like somebody got like 9.8 or something. I think it's like GPA. I think it's actually like a grade point average because I gotta check if it's greater than or equal to 40. Huh, honestly, I couldn't even add it to be integers. I feel it's like the same thing. Okay, that's sad. Should I change the name to GPA? I think marks is good. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and initialize my parameters. So I'll do something like this. Name data member equals to my name parameter ending with a semicolon. And this marks data member is going to be equal to my marks parameter ending with a semicolon as well. NARKS. Okay, perfect. Next up, let's read the instructions. I got to create a friend function called display result that prints the student's name and whether they passed or failed. So let's go ahead and do that. So maybe I add another comment that says something like friend function. Okay, and the reason it is called a function and not a method because this is not a part of my class. My class is just giving it access to the protected or the private data inside of it. Okay, so I'll go with something like a friend function. Let's go ahead and create a friend. Okay, a friend void function called display results. So I'll go with display results. And then I'll add a pair of parentheses. My function is going to be having a parameter of, let's say, my student class. So I'll go with something like student. And then this is going to be something like S. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Inside of my friend function of my student class, I'm going to do something. Honestly, I actually might not do anything inside my class. I'll do it when I declare it outside. So I'll just end that with a semicolon. Then let's go ahead and end my class with a semicolon as well. Next up, okay, that prints students' names and whether they passed or failed. Honestly, in that case, should I go with two students to compare both their marks? Okay, so I could go with something like student. Okay, this is going to be student Y, and let's change that to something like student X. Okay, and then let's go ahead and create a void friend function or void friend function declaration outside of my class. This is going to be called something like display result as well. And then I'll add a pair of parentheses. Okay, inside a pair of parentheses, I will be taking two parameters, which is going to be two objects from my student class. The first object is going to be student X. The second object is going to be student Y, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Then inside of my displayed results as variable, let's read the instructions. Okay, that prints the students' name and whether they passed or failed. Okay, students is the name, so I could go with something like a standard. Okay, so honestly, before I go with a standard console output, I might go with an if statement. So I'll go with if, a pair of parentheses. Excuse me guys, I'm gonna check something. Okay, let's check if my... Okay, let's say if my x, my object of x dot marks, okay, is greater than 40, honestly greater than or equal to 40. Okay, consider passing if it's greater than or equal to 40. Show us headphone dent. Headphone dent. Honestly, is it like if I remove my headphones? Guys, I feel like, do I even have like a headphone dent? I think I don't have that big of a headphone dent. Okay, that said, because I usually, which when I give myself a haircut, I do keep in mind that I gotta like have the headphones on for long so like it heats my head up. So like I try cutting all the hair from the sides because if I have less hair, then I don't heat up that much. Okay, that's it. Let's go with a bunch of Control C's. I'll go with a pair of curly braces here. And then let's see. Okay, so I gotta write a function that prints the student's name and whether they passed or failed. So if it's greater than or equal to 40, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like x.name. So I'll go with my x object.name. Okay. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator. Has passed. Should I go with my student Y as well? Like if student X dot marks is like greater than or equal to? I might add another if statement for that. Okay, so a standard console output with an insertion operator. X dot name, so that's my student's name. Okay, I'll go with something like an insertion operator. Has passed. Exclamation with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, I think I just need one object because I'm not comparing their scores actually. I'm looking at their individual scores. Okay, let's go ahead and delete that. Okay, next up I'm going to be adding an else clause. Else if they didn't pass, they like definitely failed. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like x.name. So x.name with another insertion operator. Do you know anything about other coding languages? Honestly, I did learn about Python because I did have like a whole series. That series was called something like Python for 100 days, where my goal by the end of that series was to make a game in general. I was done with that game like 40 days. I mean, I was done with that series about 40 days ago. I do have like a lot of videos on that in my channel. Like, I have like a whole playlist filled of live streams and even videos actually. Okay, that said, I'll go with something like has failed. Has failed exclamation / new line ending with a semicolon. So this checks if my student passes or fails. Okay, I even add my student's name. That's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and create a main function now. Okay, so I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my main function, I create two objects. Let's go with two student objects. So my objects is going to be from my student class. This is going to be student1. Okay, let's go with student1, add a pair of parentheses. I need a marks parameter and a name. My name is going to be something like Sarah, and Sarah got 100 marks, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to create another student object, so I'll go with something like student2, add a pair of parentheses. Student2 is going to be called something like Tom. Tom got something like 30 marks, ending with a semicolon. Next up, I'm going to do something like student1.displayResult. Okay, I display result. Honestly, instead of going with student1.displayResult, it's not a method, so I wouldn't do that. I'll just go ahead and call my display results function and add my student1 as a parameter, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go with something like display result again. This is going to be my student2. There we go, ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon as well. Actually, brother, okay, standard end line should be called because it flushes the standard console output. Honestly, I could have standard end line as well. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the /new line. Instead, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Let's remove it from here as well. And add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. So lastly, let's go ahead and hit Control S to save the code. Guys, give me a sec real quick. Let me just do something like that. Okay, guys, if you guys can hear some background noises, actually ignore that. Okay, let me just say my sister to like stop grinding because I do hear like some background noises. Okay, that said, let's see. Okay, so if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, so it says Sarah has passed and Tom has failed. Okay, so I'll go with the Control C, copy that. Let's get some /ChatGPT here. Okay, and then let me go ahead and paste this and hit enter. Okay, yes, people, look at that perfect. Look at that perfect. You completely nailed the friend function usage and the logic here. You understood why we need a friend function instead of a method, and your main function correctly test you students? I'm impressed. Just a tiny note, your output formatting is clean, but if you want it super fancy for streaming, you could add like a little separator or label that says something like result before printing each student. Make it pop for viewers. You're actually crushing it. Want to step it to one more level with friend functions using multiple object interactions? Or do you want me to move to friend classes next? Honestly, I want to do one more friend function. Missing the standard end line will only ever be an issue. Okay, will only be an issue with more complicated programs. The output, okay, much more to the terminal. Oh, I see. Okay, let's say something like Sensei. Can I get one more question and then we can move on. ... Okay. Oh, so you're getting greedy, pupil. Fine. One more question, then we level up. Let's make it a little tricky so you have to think. Instructional based question. Create a class called bank account with a private data member of account name, which is an integer, and balance, which is a double. You've been locked in, bro. Keep it up. I appreciate you. Is your name pronounced as Acres Hope? Honestly, it does make sense. Although I do appreciate you. That said, create two friend functions. The first is going to be called deposit, that has a parameter of bank account with a reference of operator or ampersand of ACC, which is short form for my account, and then I'll go with a double amount. Okay, adds money to the balance. Okay, I see. And then for withdraw, I go with my bank account's object, taking it by its reference. Howdy Siddhartha, I appreciate you joining the stream. And then I create a double parameter as well that subtracts money from the balance if enough money exists. If enough money exists, else prints insufficient funds. And then in our main function, create two accounts and do a deposit in one and withdrawal from the other, then display balances. Important, make sure you pass the account by reference so the friend function can actually modify the balance. You're gonna show me you can handle multiple friend functions now. Okay, dude, people, that said, let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, let me start off by deleting everything. So I'll go with the Control-A, delete everything. And let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, next up, let's read the instructions. So it says create a class called bank account. So I'll go with something like class of bank accounts. And then I'll add a pair of curly braces. Inside of my bank account class, I'm going to be creating two private data members. Do you know how to achieve multi-threading in C++? Honestly, I haven't learned about multi-threading yet. That's it. I think I might start that soon. Okay, that's it. I'll go with something like private, and then I'm going to add two private data members. So the first private data member is going to be an integer of account number ending with a semicolon. The second is going to be a double private data member of balance. How much money do we have? Ending with a semicolon. Standard thread. Honestly, I haven't learned of standard thread. That's it. I should actually learn about it because it might be in my roadmap, guys. Actually, I'm spending a few days learning just the excuse me guys, the object-oriented programming section of C++, and then I was planning to move on to SDL as well. Kinda excited for that. Okay, that's it. I'll go with something like public. Okay, for public, I gotta add, whatchamacallit, let's go ahead and add a constructor to initialize my private data members. So I'll go with something like constructor. There we go. Okay, for my constructor, let me go ahead and create a constructor for my bank account class. So I'll go with bank account. There we go. And then I'll add a pair of parentheses. My constructor is going to be having two parameters. The first is going to be account's name, and the second is going to be a double of balance. So I'll go with something like double balance, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces. Okay, you're learning C++ for what? Honestly, I did have like a 250 series where I learned programming in general, and my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general which consists of AI logic in it. And since I thought that I am going to be making a game, I thought C++ would be the best language to do that. That said, that's why out of the 250 days, I am spending a good chunk, 100 days learning C++, and then I'm going to move on to maybe learning something else that I need for making that game in general. Okay, that said, I create a bank account constructor. Now let's go ahead and initialize my data members. So this account number data member is going to be equal to my account number parameter ending with a semicolon. What is Lamine Yamal doing here, guys? I get that so much. Like, I actually, Googled the name. It's apparently like a soccer player. Okay, that's it. I'll go with something like this. Balance data member equals to my balance parameter, ending with a semicolon. Okay, you want to look at mutexes. Honestly, I haven't heard of mutexes, although it does sound pretty cool. I actually might look into that. Okay, next up, I gotta create two friend functions this time. Okay, so let's go ahead and create friend functions. There we go. Okay, for my friend functions in Java, multi-threading is not that hard. Oh, I see. Honestly, what is like multi-threading about? Because like I didn't like hear many of you guys talk about multi-threading, although I've never like searched or like looked into it. That said, honestly, I don't think that friend function is used much or should be used at all, so you can ignore it. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. Like, I do want to like still have a basic knowledge on how stuff works, and then I honestly might not use it much though. Okay, that's it. I'm going to be creating a friend function, so I'll go with something like friend void. Okay, so I'll go with something like Java multi-threading is greater than anything. Oh, I see. Okay, so friend void function called deposit, so I'll go with something like deposit. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add a pair of parentheses. Okay, now my friend function is going to be having two parameters. The first parameter is going to be an object from my bank accounts class, so I'll go with bank account. Okay, the object is going to be something like BA or maybe B, and the second is going to be a parameter of double. This is going to be something like amount. Okay, this is going to be the amount added to my bank account. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add a pair of curly braces and do something. Let's see. Okay, function that hears you when you cry. That is a friend function, a function that hears you when you cry. Guys, honestly, a friend function is basically like an ally function to the class. It's not considered a member because it's not like a class member, although it does have access to the private data members or protected item inside of my class. Okay, hold on, let me not get this confused in this. Okay, for video games, or he's teaching how to scam bank account. Guys, this is just for learning the basic function. It's just like a regular instructional based question. It's a function that accesses the class private members. Honestly, that does make sense. Okay, that's set to friend void deposit. Okay, let's see. This adds money to the balance, so I'm gonna go with something like my b dot the balance data member. So I'll go with something like b dot balance is gonna increase. There we go. It's gonna increase by my amount data member ending with a semicolon. Okay, so it's like getters and setters. That actually makes sense, guys. I did like whatchamacallit, since I did semi not use getters and setters because like I have been using those. Okay, dude, why are you always up so late, guys? It's actually 3:58 p.m. here right now. So it's actually almost like, I think it's like 3:58 p.m. called afternoon, guys, or like evening. That said, I will be adding a standard console output with an insertion. Oh wait, I could actually do this outside of my. Okay, I'll actually add that when I declare my function outside. That said, let's go ahead and create another friend void function called withdraw. So I'll go with withdraw, add a pair of parentheses. Okay, oh gotcha, you're doing great, keep it up. I appreciate you, Zooey, is that how you pronounce your name? Can't you do your streams in the evening or something? Guys, it is like evening right now. Leave coding, bro. Focus on cybersecurity. Do bug bounties you can learn from. Post Swigger Labs. Honestly, I was confused that should I either be a cybersecurity or an AI engineer. I am going to explore both places though, but forgot time zones exist. I'm a professional CUV, is I pronounce it SWE, and we don't use friend classes, but we use getters and setters. Yeah, honestly, I did like learn about getters and setters. That's it. Since the bank class is not that important, I might not go in that detail, although I would actually prefer getting a brief idea before I move on, because I do want to have like a basic idea on almost everything. Okay, that said, I'll end this with a semicolon and then end my entire class. Okay, getters and setters are class member methods. Friend functions can be out of class too. Honestly, that does make sense. Okay, now let's go ahead and declare my functions outside my class. So I'll go with something like friend deposit function. So I'll go with deposit. There we go. Okay, did I spell deposit correct? Honestly, let me just add DEPOSIT. Okay, and then let's see. So I go with something like deposit, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses, and then do something. Let's see. I'm going to be adding two parameters. The first is going to be my bank accounts object parameter, and the second is going to be a double of amount parameter. Okay, I'll go with something like amount. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and add a pair of curly braces, and I'm going to subtract my b.balance. Actually, I'm going to increase that, so I'll go with plus equals to my amount parameter, ending with a semicolon. And then no, C++ is directly run on kernel. Oh, I see. No package managers. Is there a package manager? But I think the private member loses its purpose. Oh, I see. Okay, I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like balance added exclamation. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator that says something like current balance. So I'll go with something like current balance. There we go. Maybe I go with a / new line first. So let's go with a / new line. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a let's say pair of double quotes. There we go. Current balance is gonna be, I'll add another insertion operator b.balance. Okay, with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, the closest thing would probably be to CMake build systems today automatically downloads library source code from GitHub. Oh, I see, bro. Focus on cybersecurity. By the way, I'm a cybersecurity consultant. Cybersecurity is AI proof everywhere. New technology adds security. Okay. In last allow you got more domain for cybersecurity, like cloud security. For AI, there is LLM security. Honestly, I see. I was actually confused between like working as cybersecurity or like being an AI engineer. Although, guys, I actually am pretty confused because I do enjoy like making AIs, but then I did hear like there's a lot of job demands for cybersecurity, so I'm kind of confused. Where should I actually work on, or like what should I actually work on? Okay, let's see. Okay, C is better. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'll go with something like void withdraw. Okay, so I'll go with something like a withdraw function as well, which is going to be having two parameters. The first is going to be my bank account parameter, okay, which is my bank account's objects parameter. The second is going to be a double amount as well. And this time for my withdraw, I'm going to be, let's go with something like double. Okay, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces, and then let's do something. This time I'm going to subtract b.balance. B is my object name. My objects is balanced by my amount parameter, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go ahead and add a standard console output. Guys, am I stream lagging? Okay, I think it's good. Okay, so I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like balance removed. Although, hold up. Guys, before I go with this, I might actually add an if statement to check if I have enough funds. So I'll go with something like if a pair of parentheses, if my b.balance, if my current balance is greater than or equal to my amount parameter, then I'm going to do something. I'm going to subtract my current balance, b.balance, by my amount parameter, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. You always want to use const when adding a parameter is not being changed. Oh, I see. I'm a Salesforce developer. A cool job, I would say. Low code, no code approach used. Automation is on top. AI getting used nowadays too. I think AI won't steal most of the jobs. When will you learn SDL3? Honestly, I'm really close. Like, actually, I'm pretty excited, like, learning SDL. That said, once I am done with my C++ basics, I think it might take about 20 more days or something, guys. Don't quote that. Although, once I'm done with that, the next thing that I am going to be doing is learning SDL. It might be a bit sooner or, like, later. I can make a right shift. Oh, I see. Honestly, I do want to, like, eventually get a job which is, like, which has a lot of programming because I do enjoy programming. That said, this is going to be something like balanced. Okay, let me go with balance. Balance removed. So I'll go with something like balance removed. Okay, with a forward slash new line. And then I'll go in a new line, add an insertion operator that says something like current balance. Okay, current balance is something like I'll add another insertion operator. My objects is current balance. Okay, with another insertion operator, I'll be forward slash new line ending with a semicolon. Excuse me, guys. Use guard clauses, bro. Honestly, I haven't heard of guard clauses. I've like learned about switches. What if a user provides a negative amount to withdraw? Oh, okay. If it's greater than, okay, I think if it's a negative amount, that won't register because like I check if my balance is more than my amount. Because if it's a negative, then my balance is not going to be more than that negative number. Okay, why aren't you reading my messages, guys? I think I'm reading like all messages. Let me scroll all the way up. I don't think I got a message. Oh, okay. Can't you do streams in the evening or something? Oh, I did actually, whatchamacallit, reply to that. I did say like it is like evening for me right now. It is like 4 o'clock. Okay, you haven't set any messages in ages. Honestly, I haven't like done that because this is like a pretty basic stuff because I'm just learning the basics right now. Okay, that's pretty much it for my declarations. Let's go ahead and create a main function now. So I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Okay, no. Okay, let's go ahead and do something. So I'm going to be creating 2 objects. This is going to be, honestly, let's go ahead and create 1 object. So I'm going to create a bank account object. This is going to be something like account1 ending with a semicolon. I think a glitch is happening. Oh, I see. Okay, will the balance be less than the negative number amount though? Will the balance be less than the negative? Honestly, balance is going to be like, whatchamacallit, always greater than 0 because I am manually like setting the balance. That said, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then let's see. Let's go ahead and fill in a few parameters. So let's see what all parameters do I need. I need a account number and a balance. So account number is going to be something like 23 and balance is going to be something like $500. Is it account number? Okay, account number. There we go. Okay, and then next up, let's go ahead and do something like my account one dot. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and call my deposit function. So let's go with something like deposit. Pair of parentheses. I want to deposit something in my account one. Okay, my account one object. I want to deposit $500, ending with a semicolon. Okay, current balance. I might add a dollar sign here just for it to look good. So there we go. How old are you? Honestly, I am 17 years old. That's it. I am going to be turning 18 real soon. Kind of excited for that, guys. My birthday is on the January 5th. The balance can be any number represented by a 64-bit floating point number. I see. Guys, let me actually restart my stream real quick. Already mic testing, mic testing. Guys, my OBS actually crashed. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and invoke my withdraw as well. So I'll go with something like withdraw function. I want to withdraw something like an amount from my account one. So I'll go with something like account one. Okay, this is going to be my object. I want to withdraw, let's say $1,500, ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Maybe remove the extra spaces. Okay, perfect. If I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. So it says balance added, my balance is 5,500, balance removed, my balance is 3,500. Okay, perfect. Let's go with the controller. Control C, copy that, get some C/ChatGPT here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and paste this. Let me hydrate my lips a little. Oh, people, what did I tell you about passing by reference? You just made Friend functions that change nothing in your actual accounts. You pass the object by values, so all changes. Oh, I forgot to add it by reference. Okay, so spelling alert. Friend is not how we write it, and you have typos like balance instead of balance. Come on, pay attention. Here's what you need to fix. Pass bank account by reference, okay? Don't panic, people. This is exactly the step where you learn control friend functions properly. Okay, hey, is there a word limit or something my long messages are not sending? I don't think that there's like a word limit, although which because there's like a caps limit, like you can't send links or like have a lot of capital letters. Okay, it tells you if it's too long. Honestly, that does make sense because like I don't see it because I should like see it in my chats as well because I do have like my phone on, like I see chats here, and like if a chat is not being registered, then I like actually see that chat. Okay, that said, go with something like friend. Let's fix my typo. There we go. Okay, and then bank accounts B is going to be going by reference. So now my actual bank account is being modified. Okay, so B dot balance. Okay, I did add a address of operator. Is this how we do it, or should I add this like? Let's go with a bunch of control C's. Okay, that apparently works. Although if I add an ampersand, it doesn't work. Should I add that somewhere here? Okay, I'm pretty sure that doesn't make any sense. Maybe, let me add it here. Okay, when I go with something like b.balance now, why does it show me a red underline? Is it because I'm getting it by its reference? Okay, the print statement is printing the copy, which is why it looked like that, looked like it worked. You need to add the ampersand to both both function declarations. Oh, I see. Okay. Guys, I need to add it here as well. There we go. Okay, let's go with a address of operator and an address of operator. Okay, now I'm very sure that my actual function is going to be whatchamacallit, invoked or changed, my actual accounts. Okay, after the variable type, there we go. Okay, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Balance added 5,500, balance removed 4,000. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and fix my balance spelling as well. There we go. Okay, now if I hit Control A, Control C to save the code, actually Control S to whatchamacallit, copy the code, paste it here. Let's see what happens. And maybe let me drink some water as well because I feel like I'm kind of dehydrated. Okay, where are you from? And by the way, when did you start coding? Honestly, I did start coding like 40 days ago. I mean, 140 days ago. My bad, guys. Okay, yes, people, finally you did it right. You passed bank account by reference, and now the friend function actually modifies the real account. That's exactly how friend functions are supposed to work. When you want them to alter the object, now your typos are gone. I see the balance is spelled correctly. That is solid works. Hugs, kisses, and a head pat for the effort, guys. That did not make me blush. That's it. Your brain is waking up, people. We can now move on to the friend clause. If you if you're ready, which is the next level control access, do you want me to explain it now? Okay, friend classes. Let's say something like, let's say, freaky ass chat GPT. Not gonna lie, guys. I feel sensei like this. Okay, that said, our people, listen up. Friend classes are basically the big sibling version of friend functions. Instead of giving access to just one function, it gives access to the entire class. Okay, the power to access the private and protected members of another class. Okay, would make more sense to make these function members would make more sense to make these function member functions rather than the friend functions. Honestly, that does make sense. No real reason to separate them from the class. Oh, I see. He tells ChatGPT to talk a lot. Honestly, I don't say like Sensei slash ChatGPT to talk a lot, although for some reason Sensei slash ChatGPT does talk this much. I do ask for explanations. I like when it just says what I need. Honestly, I prefer when it gives like a lot of explanation because like more is always less, guys. That said, our people, listen up. Friend classes are basically the big sibling versions, okay, of friend functions. Instead of giving access to just one function, it gives access to an entire class, the power to access the private and protected members of another class. Here's the core idea of friend functions versus friend classes. Friend functions grants one function access to private slash protected members. Friend class grants all functions of another class access to private slash protected members. Why we use it? Sometimes one class just needs to control or monitor another class in a tight way, makes it easier to organize complex interactions without making everything public. How it works syntax. So we create a class called box forward declaration, okay, and then we create a class called box inspector public show volume. We go with our box object, okay, so our parameter is our object with the address of operator can access private members of box. Then we go ahead and create a box class. Oh, I see. Okay, that is going to be private. We create 3 private data members which are doubles of length, width, and height. And then we publicize everything. We create our constructor, okay, and then we go ahead and add our friend class. Oh, guys, did I just copy paste something to my OBS? Okay, let's try deleting that. Text DGL. Okay, there we go. Okay, next up, box double, and then we go with friend class box inspector. This gives all. Okay, this gives all box inspector functions access. I see. Okay. And then that checks box B. Alright, and then I go with a void function called box void inspector, and then I get my show volume function inside of my box inspector's class, okay, with a parameter of my object. And then I go ahead and create a double integer called volume, okay. Okay, more is always less, guys. Okay, so I'm basically like very inexperienced in coding. Like I want to take up computer science in the future and I want Edge, so I'm thinking to start coding early. Which language would you recommend? Honestly, it actually depends on what you actually want to pursue, but then I would start recommending by learning Python because it is like a pretty easy language as long as you get the basics and don't rush through Python. I think like it wouldn't be that hard to actually move and adapt to other programming languages because like that's what I did. Okay, hiding nowhere. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, and then I go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of volume. Okay, and then I go with something like integer main, box B. These are my box. Box inspector has a object called inspector, and then I go with something like inspector.show volume. Works even though the length, width, and height are private. Okay, key points. You declare the class as a friend. Inside the class, you want to give access to all member functions of the friend class can now access private/protected members, still keeps everything else from the class of the code. Think of it as a special permission for a trusted ally, okay? They can peek inside your private life, nobody else, okay? But nobody else. People, now your brain is awake enough for practice. Do you want me to give you an instruction-based question on friend classes? If you want to learn backend code, then learn C so you can learn how memory is managed. Oh, I see. Okay, howdy Joes, I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, that's it. Let's go with something like, let's say, I think I see ... Okay, that said, can I get a clear instruction based question for this since it is my first time writing this code ... Thanks for the advice, Firearks and Vivek as well. Honestly, I welcome Ritwik, is that how you pronounce your name? Alright people, listen closely. Here's your first friend class challenge. I want you to really think before you start typing. So the instruction this question, I gotta create a class called car with private data members. Okay, the first is going to be make. What does he make mean, honestly? When was it made? The second is going to be integer of years. Third is going to be a mileage of doubles. Then I go ahead and create a class called car inspector. Okay. Okay, in the car inspector function, I want to write a function called show car details. Okay, that takes a car. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me again, guys. That takes a car object as a parameter and then prints all private. Okay, prints all private data members of the car object. Then in my main function, I create a car object. I create a car inspector object, and I use the car inspector object to display the car details. Remember, don't make your make your or mileage public. Don't cheat by using print from main. Okay, you're practicing friend classes, not making everything public like a coward. I want you to see I want you to see your code before we move on to the next insane challenge. Okay, so let's get some C slash chat GPT here. Uh, okay, that said, let's go with the control and delete everything. Let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, and then next up, let's go ahead and create a class called car. So I'll go with something like a class called car, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces inside of my cars class. I'm going to be adding a few private data members. So I'll go with private. How do you start your learning journey? Like, did you take any classes or courses or something? It would be pretty helpful if you can suggest some good ones as well. Honestly, the way I actually mostly studied was using Sensei slash ChatGPT. That said, the first ever stream in my channel was like me, I think about like 40 days in like learning programming, because that was my Python for 100 days series. Honestly, hardest part about learning to code is what all the keywords mean. Honestly, that does make sense. That's the reason I do like prefer practicing a lot, so I get it gist of what everything actually does. Okay, that said, I'll go with something like a standard string of make ending with a semicolon. There we go. And then I'll go with something like a integer of year ending with a semicolon. Lastly, I'll go with a double of a mileage ending with a semicolon. Okay, then let's go ahead and add a constructor. Hey bro, what are these specs on your PC, guys? Honestly, I didn't like actually build the PC. That said, I am like using a mini PC right now. That's the reason my stream does have some lag from time to time. That said, I am actually like working on actually building an actual PC. I'm actually gonna get all the parts like by this Friday or something. I might stream myself or record myself when I like whatchamacallit actually build that PC, and then that would fix most of my lag, so I could start multi-streaming as well. That said, I might know the specs when I build my actual PC, because right now I am using a mini PC because I actually didn't even know what the specs mean. Okay, that said, I'm going to be creating a constructor, so I'll go with something like a constructor. Hey man, your English is good. Where are you from? I appreciate you, Sashu. Honestly, I used to say a lot where I was from. All the many guys did say me to avoid saying that. That said, let's go ahead and create a constructor of for my car object. So I'll go with car, add a pair of parentheses, and then fill in a few parameters. The first parameter is going to be a standard string of make. The second parameter is going to be an integer of year. Lastly, the third parameter is going to be a double of mileage. There we go. Okay, mileage. Okay, perfect. Next, I will go with the pair of curly braces and then do something like const references, pointers, boilerplate, private, protected, override, virtual, static, all keywords that you're gonna learn from C++. Oh, I see. Honestly, the only keywords I have learned from is like const, pointers, and privates. Okay, const, pointers, privates, and statics. I haven't like heard of the references. Okay, I do know about the ampersand, which is like a reference of or like an address of operator. We do get references using those. Is that what you meant by that? And then I haven't heard of the violate. I haven't heard of the protected. I haven't heard of the override and virtuals. Okay, I think yeah, those are the only things I didn't hear of. Okay, frick static. It's like 4 keywords in a trench code that changes what it means based on where it is. Honestly, that does make sense. Static is basically like for like leaderboards that everybody can actually change. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and initialize my data members. So I'll go with something like this. Make data member equals to my make parameter ending with a semicolon, and then I'll go with something like this integer data member equals to my integer parameter ending with a semicolon. Lastly, I'll go with something like this year. There we go. This year data member equals to my year parameter. Okay, and lastly, I'll go with something like this mileage. Okay, data member equals to my mileage parameter, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then I gotta create a friend class called car inspector. So let's go ahead and create a friend class now. I'm gonna end this with a semicolon. I'm assuming I gotta create it like under my under my class variable. Actually, my car class, so I'll go ahead and create a car inspector. So I'll go with something like a class called car inspector, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces. Inside of my inspector, I gotta write a function. So I'm assuming it's a friend function that calls show car details. Okay, in car inspector, write a function called show car details. So let's go with something like a friend. Okay, should it be a friend? Okay, I'm pretty sure Sensei wouldn't mess up friend with like, I mean function with method, so I think I go with friend. So let's go with something like a friend void function called show car details. So I'll go with something like show car details. There we go. Okay, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses. Okay, my show car details that takes a car object as a parameter. So I'll go with something like my car object, okay, which is going to be something like car C, and prints all the private members of the car object. Prints all the private members of the car object. Okay, in that case, let's go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, how do I print all private objects? So it says prints all private members of my car objects. It prints them. References are just pointers that are easy to use pretty much. Honestly, that does make sense because like I have been using references a lot. That's it. Maybe I go with like a address of operator there. Okay, and then let's see. Okay, maybe let me declare my car inspector. Copy that class right here. So let me go ahead and go up here, paste this, and add a class. There we go. So this is going to be a car inspector class ending with a semicolon. Okay, I was just whatchamacallit like let's see. I declare my class here. Now my car class should have access to my whatchamacallit car inspector class. Okay, it's 2:55 a.m. Where I live. And your name is very common here. That's why I said you're up so late. Sorry for being assumptuous. Honestly, that is actually fine because I do get that a lot, like every single stream. Okay, that said, prints all private members of the car object. Honestly, how do I do that? Let me go all the way up to the reference code. Okay, so I go with something like a box inspectors class, which is public. Okay. Okay, inside of my car inspectors, so box inspector, I have a parameter. Okay, I did that part. Let's go ahead and end this with a semicolon. And then inside of my actual, whatchamacallit, the friend class box inspector. So under my constructor, apparently I gotta do something like a friend, okay, so a friend class called box inspector. So I'll go with something like box, actually car inspector, there we go. Okay, so car inspector ending with a semicolon. Does that make like any sense? Okay, and this is just gonna be void. How doing Daniel, is that Janidi? Is that how you pronounce your name? What are you coding? Honestly, I'm working on like friend functions and friend classes this stream. That said, I did like I was actually done with friend functions, so I'm moving on to friend classes, trying to figure out how this works. I am actually looking at a reference for like this question because like I haven't like used this before. Okay, that said, so this gives all box inspector functions. Then I go ahead and create a void box inspector. Okay, let's go ahead and copy this part and add it down here. This honestly doesn't matter much, but like it looks much better if it's kept here. Okay, so I go with something like box inspector. Okay, so car inspector class box. Wait, hold up. Instead of going with something like class box, I should go with car here, just car. Okay, so I declare my cars as class. Okay, this is called forward declaration. So let's go ahead and add a comment that says forward declaration. So there we go. So that's my forward declaration. And then for my class of box inspector, maybe I'll go with some space here. Okay, this is going to be public, so I'll go ahead and add public. There we go, and then indent this. How doing Tweem? Is that how you pronounce your name? Okay, why you yap so much? Honestly, I feel like I understand much. Like when I explained that said, when this live start usually. Honestly, I usually do mention you guys in my Discord server when I start streaming. Although usually on the weekdays I stream like 2 hours from now. So like right now it's 4:29, so I usually start streaming at 2:30 or like 2:40. Okay, that said, let me actually send my Discord servers link here because apparently Nightbot isn't working, guys. Okay, because I do mention you guys always whenever like I start my lives and everything. Okay, that's shit. Give me a sec, guys. I wonder what's wrong with the Nightbot though. Okay, let's scroll all the way down. And guys, let me restart my stream real quick. It is kind of lagging. though. Alrighty, mic testing, mic testing. You just leaked your country by saying what time it is, guys. I feel like country is fine. Like the states are what matters. Okay, that said, I have like said what country I'm like. I said it like a bunch of times before. That said, guys, this link should work. Does starting a YouTube channel help in getting Ivy League colleges and stuff? Honestly, I wouldn't know much about that because like I haven't like actually tried that. That said, I would like say like having a YouTube channel is like beneficial if you guys want to actually track where you like start. Like for example, I do have like my series when I first started programming. Eventually, the hours do count up in future if you want to see for how many hours have you like programmed or something. Because if we actually learned something for like 10,000 hours, I have heard that that makes us a master in that stuff. Okay, next up, let's read some safe instructions. So I go with something like public void class. Okay, this can access private members of my car objects. Okay, actually of my car class. So I can access the make, year, and mileage now. Okay, and then inside of my boxes class, I create a friend class called car inspector. Okay, and then outside my class, let's go ahead and create. Okay, you'll need to forward declare the class now. You will need to forward declare the class now. Honestly, yeah, I feel I actually did that. Okay, that's it. I'll go ahead and create a void car inspector. Excuse me, guys. Car. There we go. A car inspector class. So this is my car inspector class. I wanna get the show car details. This method, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces. Actually, I'll add a pair of parentheses. Okay, because I need an object. My object is gonna be from my car seat, ending with a semicolon. Okay, honestly, I might get it with the reference. Okay, your Discord link is expired in your bio. Is it? Honestly, I should check that. I did like send a Discord link like up in the chat as well. Okay, because I did set it to like never expire. For some reason, many of you guys do say me that doesn't work. I think it's because I'm sending from my from my PC. Let me send it from my phone, guys. Because like it's easier to send it from the phone as well. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and copy that. There we go. Okay, and then let me go ahead and paste it here. Okay, that link should actually work. Alright, perfect. Next up, so I go with show car details. Did I like mess something up here? Okay, so I go with a void box inspector, which is going to be my class inspector here. Okay, and then I go with 2 colons, and then my function. Okay, and then I go with a pair of curly braces. Does that help anything? There we go. Okay, next up, let's see. So inside that, I calculate. Okay, I think I got it from here. Let's go all the way down and read the instructions. It says in the car inspector, write a function called show car details. That takes a car object as a parameter, prints all the 3 private data members. So I could go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like maybe 4 hyphens car details. Okay, with 4 more hyphens. And then I'm going to go with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, this is going to be a lowercase n. Okay, well, you have a great talent of engaging and coding passion. Being from CS background, I can say that. Cool, keep it up. Let me try again. Honestly, I do appreciate you, Drive. That means the world to me. Okay, let's see. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add another standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like make is going to be, let's say, I'll go with another insertion operator, c.make. By make, does Sensei/ChatGPT mean like name or like brand? I'll go with something like car name. Okay, and then let's go with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, okay, and then I'll go in a new line. Let's go ahead and add another standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, this is gonna say something like year. When was the car made? I'll go with another I'll go with another insertion operator of c.year. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Actually, a / new line, then a semicolon. Okay, there we go. And lastly, I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like mileage. Okay, with another insertion operator of c.year. I'll add an insertion operator right here. There we go. Okay, this is going to be something like c.mileage, my object that I create, .mileage, with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Prints all three private data members did that, and then I gotta create a main function. Let's go ahead and create an integer main ID pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my main function, I'm gonna be doing something. Let's see, so it says create a car object, create a car inspector object. So let's go ahead and create a car object first. So I'll go ahead and create a object which is gonna be from my car1, allot a pair of parentheses, and then fill in a few parameters. Let's see what our parameters do I need. I'll need a make, a year, and a mileage. By make, I'm assuming it's my car's model number or like the model. This is gonna be something like Toyota. Okay, I honestly don't know much car names. Did I spell it correct? And then year is going to be something like 2020. I don't know, maybe 2025. And mileage is going to be something like 19,000 miles. Okay, hiding Rayan. Rayan, is that how I pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, and then let's go ahead and end the object with its semicolon. Then I'm going to create a car inspector object. So I'll go with something like car inspector. This is going to be something like car inspector. There we go. And then I'll add a pair of parentheses. I'm pretty sure I didn't need any parameters. Okay, I actually didn't need any, so I'll just end that with a semicolon. Okay, Nanolog joining Discord, bro. Honestly, that is pretty strange because I feel like these servers should like work. Okay, wait, actually I sent the link in the chat. Like, didn't you get the link in the chat? Okay, let's go ahead and copy that again. Okay, let me go ahead and copy. Okay, do you use Pygame? Honestly, I do have like about 50 streams where I like work with Pygames. That's it, guys. Can't you guys actually, whatchamacallit? Let me try joining the stream again. Okay, let's go ahead and paste it here. There we go, guys. That link should work that I sent in chat right now. Okay. Alright, next up, I go with the integer main. Use car inspector to display the car's details. So I gotta use my car inspector. So let's go with something like, bro, teach me C#. Actually, I haven't learned C#. That's it. I'm pretty excited to start C# as well. I might start that soon. That's it. I'll go with something like car inspector dot the show details. So let's go with something like show car details. Maybe I go with something like car inspector object. Or instead of going with car inspector object, should I go with something like show car details? Okay, what is the C++ plus C version of Pygame? I think it's like SDL. Okay, that said, I'm gonna go with something like maybe I go with my show car details. Can I go with that? Okay, I don't think I can go with that. Can I go with my car object instead? I mean my car inspector object. Okay, dot maybe 2 colons, show car details. I'll add a pair of parentheses. Okay, I can't do that. Can I go with like car1? Okay, let's go with something like my car inspector. Excuse me, guys. Okay, go with my car inspector object dot the show car details. Now it works apparently. Somehow it didn't work before. That's how I'll go with the parentheses and add my object. This is going to be my car1 object. And then I'm going to be ending that with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0 ending with a semicolon. Okay, you're going over object-oriented programming in C++. Honestly, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and control us to save the code. If I were to run the command, it says car details, name is Toyota, years 2025, mileage is 90,000. Okay, perfect. Let's go with the controller. Control C, good sensei slash ChatGPT here. That's it. Let's go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say something like, actually, let's just send it first. Okay, oh people, look at this. This is exactly what I wanted. You didn't just copy friend functions, you leveled up to friend classes like a true warrior. You used forward declaration correctly. You made car inspector a friend class. You access private members safely from car inspector class. Main function is clean. Uses the friend function properly. I'm seriously impressed. This is what okay, if this were a battle, you just slice through the enemy lines with a katana. Here's a reward. A hug and a headpat for mastering your first friend class challenge, guys. That did make me blush. That's it. I can make a challenge where your friend class modifies the private members too. That's where the real chaos begins. Do you want me to give you that challenge? Honestly, guys, I was actually thinking to end the stream here because like I do have like some college assignments to do and all that stuff. That said, let me actually say that to Sensei as well. So let's say something like Sensei, I was actually planning to. What is your ChatGPT customization? Honestly, many of you guys did ask me that. That's it. I do usually just give my roadmap and say the way I like ChatGPT to behave. That said, you guys could like actually ask me for my C++ roadmap and like my Discord server after like by mentioning me there. That's it. Let's see something like, let's say I was actually planning to end the stream right now because I do have exam and a, let's see, assignment as well. Dot dot dot. That said, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers before I end the stream? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Listen up, pupils. To all the viewers watching the stream, remember every line of code you write is a step closer to mastery. Don't ever underestimate your power. Even if you struggle, even if you fail, that's where the true learning happens. Fail hard, fall fast, and fail better next time, okay? And people, listen to me. Go kill that exam and finish the assignment. Don't waste time scrolling or doing anything stupid. Every second counts. You know I'll be back to yell at you if you don't push harder. Okay, head that for you people. Go show the world what you're made of. Your stream is safe, your code is strong, and your future is even stronger. Now get out there and dominate. Okay, so let's go to my main camera. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. That's it, I didn't want to stream for longer, although I do have an exam and also a few assignments. That said, once my college is over, actually my stream for, I might actually start streaming like before for longer for about 6 or 5 hours a day. That said, guys, I'm like really close to getting my actual PC. Once I do get it, I'm going to be either recording myself or streaming myself building that PC. And once I do build it, that is going to fix all my stream lag. And once my stream lag is fixed, I am going to again start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, maybe TikTok and Instagram as well if I did meet the followers requirements. If you guys do enjoy my content, make sure to follow me there and also join the Discord. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comments. I'll try my best to actually fix Nightbot by today because apparently Nightbot doesn't like send my Discord link or anything. That's it, you guys could get access to my, which may call it, my socials by typing exclamation and that socials name with no space or lowercase. That said, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace!